Hi, my name is Gary Henderson, and in this computer ethics class, I'd like to do my video project on why it is indeed ethical for us computer science students to take the humanity courses that we have to take. In doing this, I'd like to talk about concerns about how people who take boot camps may be gaining a leverage over someone in a degree such as ours. I want to talk about what humanities are and what we can learn from humanities. I want to talk about how understanding humanities helps us understand deontology better when it comes to users' rights using apps and programs to have users' rights to ethical technology. In doing this, I'll be referencing the Facebook Cambridge Analytica data scandal that happened in early 2018. To close it out, I want to talk about just how having humanities is actually more ethical and makes us more well rounded, prepares us for the future, life after school, when we enter the workforce. And so there is a concern that people who attend boot camps may be gaining a leverage on someone who holds a degree, but I don't view it that way for the reason that while boot camps are helpful, they are cost efficient and not as expensive as gaining a degree. I believe you learn just so much different things from both of them. You learn in the boot camps, you really go to a boot camp to learn one specific language, and that's what you learn, the ins and in and outs of that one language, and you're done. But when you come to a university and major in a computer science, you learn so much more. You learn on top of the technical courses, the computer science courses, you take your maths and sciences, but also the you learn so much theory behind these technical courses, why certain piece of codes work and why they don't. You learn all the background knowledge behind that instead of just learning the language itself. But you also take the humanity classes, which is very important to and what I believe. And here's why. Well, humanities is the study of human culture, human past experience, where we as humans have failed and succeeded in the past. We learn about those and it helps us gain just better perspective of life, of our role in society, of what we do. It helps us, gives us a direction on the future in our jobs as computer scientists, which way we'll go and how, especially learning from things that happened in the past, how we can prepare for that in the future to not let those mistakes happen again. We understand why people in the past had to make changes to their society in order for it to continue to grow and be established. We also learn that all of our actions have consequences, and even if they're just small, what seemingly harmless actions, they all hold a consequence, whether it be small or large, and these consequences trickle off like a butterfly effect. They could always come back. So I want to talk about the Facebook Cambridge Analytica data scandal. As I said, it happened in early 2018. It was a major political scandal. In the end, they Facebook sold millions of people's personal data from their profiles without the consent of the users, and they sold them for political advertising purposes. And it sounds like a very horrible thing, which it is wrong, but this data was supposedly no way being able to be tracked back to any specific individual. So when you say that, it doesn't sound so bad not being able to be tracked to any specific person, but users and customers who use programs we make, or in this situation, this specific app, Facebook, they don't like being, they don't like feeling like they're being spied on or being watched under a constant surveillance. And when customers start to feel that way, it makes them not trust the provider. And when the customer doesn't trust the provider, it's when you start to lose customers. And shortly after this scandal, I know Facebook's stocks dropped very tremendously. So we want our customers to be able to trust us, and humanities allows us to be more prepared even before we start implementing a program, helps us be more prepared to meet customers' needs, to meet the society's needs of what they need to feel safe and secure. Because if we knew about how people feel before we make our programs, then we can make them around that to fit the customer's needs and to where they don't feel like they're under surveillance. But most apps now updated their terms of service to where you have to agree yes or no. And in them terms of service, they say how, hey, this data may be sold to other, other companies, other places, but in no way will it be able to be tracked back to you, or that this is your data. It's more of a large, wholesome amount of data. And, if you choose no, then many of the functions of the app won't be available for that. But if you choose yes, you use the app to its fullest, and they will gather data, like I said, in wholesome values, not just send one specific person's data off. It's just wrapped up in hundreds of thousands to millions of people's data is all bunched up and sent off in that way. And so a lot of apps have updated terms of use because of the Facebook Cambridge Analytical data scandal. So, how is humanities actually more ethical, and how does it make us just more well rounded and prepare us for life outside of school when we join the workforce? Well, in humanities, we do a lot of discussion, a lot of why people did this in the past, and persuading people that they did this for this reason. We work in teams and get to talk to many different people, sometimes of different cultures, and I believe this helps prepare us for when we join the workforce. You have to work in teams, and you never know what type of people you have to work for, and having a better understanding of those people and of being able to communicate and work in teams is a huge bonus and a must have when you are in the workplace. So these humanities help teach us these skills. We learn not only about forming our own perspective on previous events or present events, or even of what we plan on implementing in the future, but we also learn to respect other people's perspectives of it and be able to communicate to form something in a team. We learn how to communicate with our colleagues and supervisors at a job, your boss, and that there's a certain way that sometimes you have to talk to your boss so that they would understand versus talking to a colleague, a coworker, or anything of that sort. So I just believe humanities helps us become more well-rounded, way more prepared than as if you went to a boot camp. Yes, you do learn a language and you learn it well, but you're missing out on so many of the soft skills that you can learn from humanities, such as your problem solvings and critical thinking, communication, leadership, and all these skills will help you just as a human being, will help you after you graduate getting a job. I've seen most employers, when you go into an interview, yes, they do want you to have the experience, the technical experience that is in your resume. So, but it's not that you have to be the best at Java there ever was. They want they look for a good solid baseline, something that can be built on. But when you're in those interviews, skills that you learn from a class like humanities are on display in full effect, because you have to communicate with whoever it would be, the human resource manager, the hiring manager. You have to be presentable to them, be able to communicate to them in ways that tell them that, hey, this is the right candidate, versus if someone who goes in with just boot camp certification, not saying that they wouldn't have any people skills, but they for sure wouldn't learn it like you do in a program like computer science, where you do take these humanity classes and learn to communicate, learn these leadership skills. So saying that a boot camper, that's all they've done, there's a chance that that's all they know is that language, where you can make yourself stand out because of your well developed, well rounded soft skills that you've learned just through your college career. A lot of different jobs can be gained from a computer science degree. You could be a developer, a software engineer, there's database administrators, information technology specialists, and so there's so many jobs that the computer science field prepares you for. And that's why another reason I just believe the humanities is so helpful, because no matter which way you branch off after graduation, you'll at least be prepared to be able to communicate with other coworkers. When you work in teams, you can communicate with your team a lot better. But also when, say, pitching out new designs, you'll have a very solid understanding of pros and cons from that design before you ever even make the program. If understanding, is this program going to help the majority of people, or could it harm them? Where's, I guess, more focused on what the cons are and understanding those. As I mentioned earlier in the video, the Facebook data scandal, understanding that, humans, users don't like to feel like they're under constant surveillance, or feel like data they've entered into the system could easily be exposed or is being sold to other people. That scares the customer away, and knowing that, you can find a way to implement your app into how most apps just have the updated terms of service that will tell you that this is what they're doing. And I believe they do that because they don't have any intentions of harm with that information. They don't, they package it in such a way that, as I mentioned, it's not easily tracked back to one specific individual. And so understanding pretty much what humans look for in their everyday software can help you before you even begin to make that said software. Thank you for watching my video. Hope y'all enjoyed. If y'all have any questions or comments, just please leave them under the video and I'll get to them. Thank you.